just for you. Just for you. I'm gonna tell you how this game works. It's easy as heck. They start you off with a handful of cards. In fact, I could tell you almost the cards you're gonna get because I have this deck called Starter. This was my very first deck. Now, yours might vary, and the cards that are in there might change slightly because this isn't the only cards you get to start. But it takes you through this little, I don't know what do you call it, how-to when you play the game. But ultimately, every card has abilities, and your goal in each match is to win 2 out of 3 territories. Now, every one of these cards is going to try to, do something. Like the Hawkeye, you get +3 for the next card you play. The Hulk doesn't do anything under normal circumstances. There is a card that later can give him an ability, but he's just a big 12. Same with Abomination. He's just a big 9. But there is a card that you might get in some point called High Evolutionary. Gives these guys abilities. Same with Cyclops. But so a lot of the cards are pretty basic. Like the Thing doesn't do anything. In fact, High Evolutionary will affect Cyclops, Abomination, Hulk, and the Thing. Gives them all powers. And Misty Knight. So at the beginning of the game, you get a lot of cards that don't have abilities. And I think they do that on purpose because they don't want to overwhelm you with cards that do stuff. There are cards that do more complex things, do more interesting things, but you don't get them right away. It's kind of like they introduce those slowly so that you don't get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of stuff. But the game does go about it kind of interestingly. The way you kind of get going is you're building up on this collection track. And all along the track, you're getting new stuff. All right, so you get stuff from, like I'm 9,900. I don't even know, can I pick a spot? I don't even know, how do I can't even go to the bottom. I can, but I'd be scrolling for a week. But you're getting all these things as you go. Early on, you can get new cards. You still get credits. You'll still get boosters, but you can actually get cards, and you get them a lot faster in the first, I think, 1,000 levels or so. They give you a lot of stuff. You're constantly getting cards and getting things. So you're growing your collection really quick. Now, as you break 1,000, it starts becoming a little bit less common. And I think once you hit 2,000 or 3,000, they spread out. And then eventually it gets to the point where you get less and less cards. You get more and more variants, because variants become more of a thing. The only thing a variant does is give you there's 2 purposes in a variant. One, you get cool cards, cool versions of your cards. Okay, so this is how you'd get them. You get them with gold, but you can earn gold. You can get them with cubes, but you're also trying to get cubes. Cubes are how you move up in the ladder. That's this thing. This guy. So you start off way at the bottom, way down in the world of nothing, recruit. You win your first 5 games, you get a backing. You win your first 10, and you get 200 credits. Now, what I mean by win is you actually earn 10 levels. So if you lose, you go up and down on this chart, because this is the number of cubes you have. So once you're 10 cubes ahead, you'll get 10. So you got to be ahead. So this goes up and down. But you can see this first one is 10 cubes. It's only like 4 to get there. It's really easy. But as soon as you hit a level like this, 10, it gives you the first 3 levels for free. So you'll go 10 and you're starting at 13. And then so you only have to go 7 more to get to 20. But, if you lose, you start falling down. And you won't fall back straight to 10. You'll go, 12, 11, 10 if you're losing a lot. But early on, it's hard to lose too much at the beginning, but your cards are also not that great. Now, the automatic pairing system of playing a game picks people who are in the similar collection level as you. So that's like this. So I'm playing against people theoretically that are in the 8, 10. I don't know what the range is, but they're in that same general collection zone as you, as well as the level you are in cubes. So they kind of pick people who are in that same 90 range. They pick people who are in the same collection range. This way you kind of get people who have the same access to cards. Now, they may have cards you don't have, but it's going to be close. And therefore, theoretically, you're all playing more even matches. But there's, like I said, there's two purposes in variants. All these super cool variants that you can get here. I think the game told me I have like 700 unique variants, or 700 variant types. One of the things is by increasing your collection level, so that's anytime you upgrade a card, it increases your level on here. So upgrading a card goes you up notches on here. And depending on the quality of that upgrade, so like if I go here and go to quality, the lowest quality cards is this. This is a level 0 card. It has, you know, I need 5 boosters for that card and 25 cubes. I have enough cubes, but I don't have any boosters for him because I haven't played him yet. You only get boosters for cards by playing them. Every match in the Conquest, every match in a normal cube fight will get you boosters, but not for every card in your deck. Only one card every match gets you boosters. You don't know when you're going to get them for like that card that's in your deck. But the card doesn't have to be played. It just has to be in the deck to have a chance at getting boosters. Besides having really cool cards, having more variants means you'll have more low-level ones, because you can see at 25, you only need 5 boosters. It's easy to upgrade the first few levels, because at the second level, you go straight to, then they become 100 cost, and you go up. It tells you how many levels you'll go up when you evolve the card. So I click on him, and it says, did you see? You'll get 4 levels off of Agatha if I upgrade her. If I go up, pay the 200 to 20 cost, I'll go up 4 levels on the cost, or on the collection track. The highest you can go is infinity, which means you can't upgrade again. But the highest you can get for an actual upgrade is gold. Now this guy, I get 10 collection levels. If I can upgrade him, I'll get 10 collection levels. And you see it costs 500 cubes and 50 booster. What happens when you hit infinity is you get another variant, but they're usually, the first time you get an upgrade, it's going to be a lame variant. That's what I call them, the stupid variants. These variants, it's like, all right, so I have this guy, all right? So he's like a base card, or he's a base version of that variant. When I upgraded him, he turned into this guy. I get this version of him, a foil finish with a purple glimmer flare. So people like to collect them for getting the different flares and the backgrounds. Typically, the gold backgrounds are inked, and I don't have a gold one, and gold. So these guys here are all gold. And for me, I like to get my gold background guys like him up to a gold border, because I think that's the best combo. In fact, my favorite one is Goose, because what better than the golden goose with a gold background and a gold finish? The only thing is I don't have a gold glimmer flare, which I really wanted, or a gold crackle, but I didn't want to keep upgrading over and over and over again, so I stopped. Besides, I didn't want to lose my golden goose combo here, because you could switch. Like if I could do that, if I were to upgrade it. Now, they're coming out with a feature. Supposedly, it's right around the corner. They say it's coming soon, where all your earned borders and backgrounds, you can customize the card with any combination of something you've already earned for that card, which is really cool. So in other words, I can upgrade one card as many times as I want, trying to chase after that perfect crackle background. And in the meantime, have my favorite card be gold background, gold border, whatever. Just have my one. So they're going to let you customize a card. And in the meantime, you can keep upgrading to try to find that. Like if I want to get me a gold crackle or a gold glimmer flare, I can keep upgrading that card. I actually got 2 gold with this guy. I got his gold baby goose. But I think having the golden goose is like, you can't beat that, right? There's nothing better. I mean, just the term golden goose. It's awesome. So you go. That's really all it is. It's upgrading and getting your collection levels up. And when you do that, you get more stuff. It does get to be a little bit much, in my mind, in that, look, you have gold, you have cubes, you have collection levels, You have credits, which are these things. Oh, right here, credits. See, this is credits. These credit things are just to buy these cards. It's really all they are, and they're expensive as heck, and they take forever to earn. But you do occasionally get them from various upgrades. The game does have, it's a microtransaction game, gotta say, it exists. You don't have to do it. I only buy season passes, and I don't buy all of them. I've bought maybe half of the ones that have come out so far. They do constantly nerf cards, so if you fall in love with one because it's kicking everybody's butt, it's probably kicking everybody's butt for everybody, and then they're going to go, nope, card's too strong, they're going to nerf it. Or if a card doesn't get enough love, nobody's playing with it, they might give it a bump and a buff and hopefully get people to play it more. So they kind of keep tweaking to get the game to stay balanced, which is cool. I mean, it's both good and bad, right? Like if you buy the season pass for a really powerful card and then they nerf it, it's kind of like, oh, well, I just paid, for the season pass and now they nerf my card. But you can buy this. The first time you buy gold, they'll give you double of what you bought. I, as you can see, have never bought gold, so I can still get my double. I just don't want to spend the money. I'm cheap, yeah. So I can pay $5 and get 600 gold. It just doesn't feel all that great. I mean, I've thought about I think one of these middle ones is probably the best deal. This is stupid expensive. At 2,800 gold ain't bad. I think I might break down and buy gold if the card I'm waiting for shows up as one of these. These every day, these update every day at 11 o'clock. Well, right now it's 11 o'clock. They used to do it at night, but now it's daytime. You can buy these and you earn gold. Again, all that stuff is earned here in the collections. These collector levels will typically give you gold or credits or something like that. The only other thing is they have another form of money, which I don't even know what it's called because I keep forgetting. It's this thing. You go on the show, they're crowns or something like that. Medals. Oh, they're medals. You earn medals by fighting here. There's a lot of different forms of money, credits, crowns, medals, all kinds of stuff all over the place, and you're just trying to earn those. I think of Conquest, especially the Proving Grounds, as your practice spot. This is the Proving Grounds, the very first level. You want to play a deck and you don't want to risk any cubes, go here. And then snap right away. You snap right away just so that you don't have to play all day, because if you keep not snapping, it's going to take forever to finish. You're never going to, because especially if you win, and then they win, and then you win, and then they win, and it just goes back and forth. So I like to snap here, get it out with, and don't run away just because you lose 8. Like say you lose the first time, he snaps back, you're down to 2. Don't run away, just play the game. I mean, you're only going to lose one more time and it's over. And maybe you'll win. Maybe you'll win 5 times. But either way, I don't know. I say don't run away. But I like to torture people. Yesterday, in fact, a guy beat me 8, and then I beat him 5 straight times, and I beat him. So it is, it's possible to come back. I've done it a couple times now. It's pretty rare because you got to win a lot. But anyway, so Conquest is another way to earn stuff. They keep throwing in new stuff. Like one of the more recent things they added were these albums. They have this friendly battle now where you can battle with friends. Just you throw in you create a match, you send them the code, they play you. Collection levels, albums. This is brand new. This is kind of cool. If you're big into collecting and you like spending the money to get your boosters or to get your variants, see, this is why money will accelerate your game a lot. Like a lot of games, they give you these timers. You start playing and you'll like go to build something, for example, and it takes 8 hours to build it. You play for free, it takes 8 hours. You have to wait till tomorrow or whatever to get the next thing. Or when you build a bunch of small things, they take a long time. You have to wait for them. But if you're playing with money, you can accelerate those clocks. So you're still getting the free effect, but you're just going faster, right? Marvel Snap is kind of sneaky in the way they give you that same functionality. And I think this is why people are almost forgiving of it. It's not so obvious like, hey, we're going to make your clock go faster. We're going to give you more variants. More variants means faster acceleration in the collection levels because it's cheaper and easier to boost a bunch of small cards than it is to boost. Because if all your things cost 500, you got to earn 500 credits in order to evolve them. But if you've got like 5 variants of it, several of those cards could be, only cost 100 or 25 or 200. But, so stuff you can keep upgrading. You have more chances to upgrade. More chances to upgrade means more moving up the chart, which means getting more rewards, which means, moving up the chart faster. And so obviously if you're paying with money, you get to buy more of these variants, which will give you more of these prizes, like the keys, which give you more chances to get the new cards that come out. And you get another variant. The money is hidden and you're improving your collection. And you can make it as complicated and as simple as you want, but they have them all there. I mean, for me, a lot of what I do, I look at this stuff and go through these albums and things just to check. You can see I have 2 cards of the 4 albums. I've got a total of 10 cards. That's because I don't buy cards. I don't pay gold other than what I've earned. So I'm not big on these unless there's something I really got to have, but I don't see me ever spending gold just to get these. I still think they're cool. I have seen people with these emotes, these top emotes, which means they've completed the entire album. I've seen people playing this Venom, so they have all these cards. I've seen people with Magneto. I don't know that I've ever seen. Oh no, actually, I think I did see someone play Cosmo. There's people throwing money at this thing like crazy to be able to purchase these. Because when the albums come out, there's a bigger chance of those cards being in the lists, and they'll put a little booklet here and show you it's an album card. So if you're willing to go buy the gold, you can buy the album cards that all come up. And some people will do that. They'll see the card come up, and they'll have a bunch of gold that they bought, and they just buy all the album cards. And so they'll fill up the album cards, get those things. So yeah, money's definitely the way to do it. So that's why a lot of people are probably way further than me. But if you don't buy very often, but you play the game a lot like I do, like I said, I probably missed less than 10 missions since I started playing a year ago last October, which is the month it came out. I started like 2 weeks after it came out. It's really it's fun. I like it because it's kind of a mental game. There's a little strategy. There's a lot of luck too. So it's not like all strategy. Sometimes the territories will screw you. Sometimes it's just guessing. At the end of the game, it's a 50-50 shot. Do I go right? Do I go left? Sometimes you hit. Sometimes you don't. And it's just the way it goes. You can't win them all. You can't win them all. And it's like, when do I snap? When do I not snap? To try to accelerate my increases or minimize my losses. When do I retreat? I do a state of the game. I've been doing them now for 3 months, where every time they do a new balance update or a new, new features coming kind of thing, I will do a state of the game where I go in, I open up that thing, and I talk about each of the updates, how that's going to affect changes, in my opinion, because obviously, what do I know? I play a lot, so I know how it affects things. But at the same time, I don't play. I'm an anti-meta guy. Okay, so that's one of the things you're going to know about me is I'm an anti-meta. If I see somebody playing, like the most popular deck, I think by far is the self-destruction deck. Some people call them destroy decks, but I think they're self-destroy decks. Carnage, Venom, Wolverine, X-23, these are all cards that can destroy themselves or they benefit from being destroyed. X-23, if it gets destroyed, gives you another, it stays in play, but it gives you another point to cast cards with. Wolverine, when he gets destroyed, gets +2. Venom and Carnage will just eat the other cards. Carnage gets +2 for every card he eats in that territory. And then Venom gets their power. So he goes 3 plus the power of everybody he eats. But if you're playing Venom, or if you're playing X-23 and Wolverine, they just pop up somewhere else, maybe in the same territory, maybe in one of the other territories, but they don't die. So you can't kill them. And then, of course, some people play Nimrod. When you kill Nimrod, again, he doesn't die. He splits in 2 and lands at the other 2 territories. It's really annoying if you're playing against him and you're trying to kill cards because you can't kill their cards. It's really frustrating. But by far, I think the self-destroy deck, that one, some variations of it, people play a few other odd cards. I gave you the basis of those decks, but you get 12 cards. There is 2 to 3 cards you won't get to play out of 12, but you'll get to play most of your cards. So Sometimes you get to see all of them if the right things happen out here on the on territories. Like I'm snapping here. Why? Because this deck wins fairly often, and two, I got a fairly good start for this deck. He's snapping too, so he feels pretty good about it. What I mean by, for me, for this deck, a good start is not getting all my big cards, all the cards you see up here. This Xfinity, Gigano, all these guys are big. And having them in play in my hand right away means I'm not going to cast anything. So it kind of screws me up. Oh, look, we're going to have armor everywhere. So he's playing a big deck too. Almost everybody who plays armor is trying to defend their cards. So now we're kind of playing the same deck. He might be playing something slightly. After you play a card here, add a sentinel to your hand. On the upside, I might not have to play Kyera because we have two. So he might play Wave right now because a lot of guys who play in big decks play Wave, and it chops the price of cards down to 4. So I try to explain when I'm playing the game what these cards are doing. Magic. So he's given us a turn 7. Magic will look at that, he changes that territory and says, hey, there's a turn 7. Now, I like to play decks with Rhino in them when I'm playing those guys because they don't expect you. Rhino destroys the territory. So if you do it on turn 6, it cuts turn 7 out of the game. And if they've been planning for turn 7, everything they were hoping to do on turn 7 is done. It don't matter. So all their setup for that final round gets screwed up. And I've won a bunch of times. The thing, see now, remember I told you he has no powers? Afflict 3 enemy cards here with -1. So he's playing, what that does is it gives him -1 for every 3 times. He gets that from High Evolutionary. Just having High Evolutionary in his deck gives all those cards that have no powers normally, it gives them powers. It gives him a fair amount of powers, actually. He gave up. I got way too big off of that. Red Skull and Infinite. And he's like, nope, that's territory lost. He can't match it. His Hulk, which those guys are always playing for Hulk, because Hulk gets bumps if he saves his energy. But now he doesn't want to save his energy because it's totally hosed. I mean, I'm way ahead of him. And I've got big cards galore coming. Between Living Tribunal, who's going to take this power, spread it out. Jubilee I was going to play, which had a pretty good chance of pulling up either Blob or the Giganto, are very big cards. Would have probably been big enough to fight for this spot. And then I have Tribunal, who I could just put down and spread it all out and probably win 2 out of 3 territories at least. So he knew that. He wasn't going to play anymore. He was afraid. And this is an overlay. You can see this thing here. This is like you can find this online somewhere. It only works on the PC right now. It's supposed to work on the phone, but Android changed the way things work, and the Apple, you can't connect it. But it does kind of give you an idea how your deck is doing. And then if you go click on, like I can go here, check this. If you go to the app, this is called Snap Zone. And if I go click on decks, it'll take me to a website, which is basically tracking my, now this shows me, it shows you a lot of the meta. So these are decks that are out there in the world right now being played. And you can see, you can go here and kind of go, oh, yeah, I'm going to try that deck. But see, they got a 50, 51, 52%, 56% win rate. You can kind of get an idea. Oh, so this is new. Hot location decks. I don't know what this is. Oh, Limbo. Yeah. But see how 50%, not even 50%. Some of them don't have them because they probably don't have enough people playing them. This one's doing really good. With 73 games played, it's got a 65% win rate. These are my decks and the ones I've played recently. Area 52's like my experimental deck. I usually just throw a bunch of rando cards in there and try to build stuff and see what I want to do. I think this is a version of an upgrade deck, which just means it's got a bunch of cards I want to upgrade. I try to make them synergize a little bit and go with it. But like these decks, like Biggins and I Take It, have themes designed around, trying to win and trying to do it in a way that's slightly different from everybody else because I don't look at the meta. So I build my own version. So a lot of times they'll end up matching in some way. 2 or 3 of the cards might be the same, but it won't be exactly. But you can see Biggins is doing about a 56% win rate. Discarder, 50-50. Not too great. He is averaging 3 cubes a game. That's really high. Very rarely do you have decks that are averaging 3 cubes a game. But granted, keeping track of it on here, I've only got four games played. I've played it a lot more than that, and it's probably not averaging that many. But in those 4 games, it averaged 3. So like I said, I have to play them on my PC for this to even record them. Rule of 3 is one of my favorite decks. It tends to fluctuate between 53 and 60. So it's a 50-something% game. I played 130 times with it, so it's pretty reliably in the 50s. Mini-Mite crap deck, I'm surprised it has. It's pretty much flatlined. It averages 0 cubes and wins half the time. So it's basically don't hurt you, don't help you. I Giveth, another weird deck of mine, but a lot of these decks have had their moments. 5-side I haven't played in a long time. 5-side just lets me look at their card on the 5th turn. 5-side, very unique. Destroyer, one of my favorite decks, also tends to be one of my highest win rates. Look, I played it over 320 times on this computer here, and it tends to have a 55 to 60. It goes even times when I'm doing 70 to 80% win rate. It kind of fluctuates, but just depends on the day how things are going. But it's one of my favorite decks. It's just fun to play. It's different. I never see anybody playing a deck like it. I rarely run into the same deck, or a deck I'm going, oh, he's playing the same deck as me, or similarly. So I always feel pretty good about that one. Rule of 3, I see variations of this all the time, where I can tell they've got Polaris, they've got Daka, and they've got Brood. Of course, they're playing Silver Surfer, Negasonic. Not everybody plays Negasonic. More people should. Okay, here's a tip. As soon as you have Negasonic and Echo, throw them in your deck. If you build up your deck decently strong, I mean, this is just for your basic deck. I mean, there are a lot of things you might not want to have them in there. But when you're trying to get a deck going, if you can get those guys going pretty quick. Now, of course, those are cards you may not see for a while because they're not beginner cards. You may not see them right away. But if you do get them pretty quick, people are dumb. I've won so many games because people will play something with Negasonic and they just blow themselves up. I'm not talking about like those that people will throw stuff away at Negasonic. So that's why you don't play it early. Don't play it on turn 3. Turn 4 maybe because people want to get a good turn 5 down. If you're in the lead on turn 4, don't play it because it'll just be a turn 4 card you're going against. But if you're behind on turn 4, playing it on turn 4 is not bad. Playing it on turn 5 is great. Just be careful if you're playing Sarah. You got to decide, right? If you're not going to be ahead on turn 6, she's worthless. Just leave her in your hand. If you're not ahead on turn 6, on the last turn, you can't play Negasonic because she has to be up before your opponent is. So as a 3/2, she's kind of pointless unless you have nothing else to play. But so she has to come down early enough to give you a chance, and she can lock a spot out because a person on turn 6 or whatever are playing high cost cards and they can't throw cards away as easily at Negasonic. So she kind of locks the spot down in a lot of cases. Which can narrow the things you have to worry about defending on the following turns. It's like, okay, Negasonic's there. She's going to have to work hard to get past your stuff and win the territory. So now they have to try to win the other territories. So she can kind of lock a spot down if you're in good shape. But Echo, I see people screw up with Echo all the time where what Echo does is she cancels any ongoing cards played after her. So Iron Man, which doubles the power of a location. Onslaught, which doubles the power of other ongoing cards. All those cards don't like her. You can't play Cosmo against her, which cancels all on reveal powers, but his power is ongoing. I've seen so many people throw cards down against Echo. Armor. They throw down an armor against Echo, and she just kills the armor. And they're like, what did I just do? And then you still killed her card with Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi will kill any card that's 10 or more. So 10 or more power, he kills it. As long as they don't have some kind of defense. And there are cards for that too. So in time you learn. That's why it's better that they only give you, 15 cards to start. Because you got to learn those cards, and then you're going to get one or two more or three more, and you're going to get cards really fast. But they'll come in staggered, and you'll eventually be able to figure out what it can do, what it can't do, and start building strategies in your head. And if you're a meta person, there's a million sources out there. Snap's got a Discord. You've got this website, which is showing you decks that are getting used. And you can look at how your decks are doing. I wish I had gotten this when it first came out, because it helps so much to know how often you're winning and losing in a deck. I just wish it worked on the phone. I'm hoping they'll fix that one of these days, so it'll work on the phone again. Because then all your phone stuff and this will come together, and you can really see. Because I play on the phone, and I don't see all my wins and losses from that. So only when I'm playing on my computer do I really get to see how good a deck's doing. So that's why I like to play it here and stream and talk to you guys about it. There you go, man. There's your primer.